Today, I'm driving up into London because I've been asked to restring a whole bass section of a piano. But it's kind of struck me that the things I'm talking about is renewing the base or the foundation upon which the whole of world Christianity works. How many do you know who spell out to you every bit of Romans chapter 1 to 8? The very base or foundation of our gospel is a complete replacement of the whole Genesis 3 phony existence. He didn't half do things. If God had meant us to be expert at the good end of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, then how come the Jews who'd practiced for 2,000 years came into such conflict with this man who was living inside the tree of life? And it is because, as he said, he came to lay the axe to the root. People hate this gospel. But I tell you, if you accept Jesus Christ has replaced you at your inner center, then you cannot have any more self-hatred. Because Jesus Christ is living his life out through your soul and your body. There is some kind of fusion that has gone on at spirit level, because he's not replacing our essential essence. In fact, he's making it work. That's why Christianity works, and is nothing to do with any other kind of religion. Every other kind of religion leaves Genesis 3 and the whole condition intact. Every non-religion, which is in fact a religion, like Richard Dawkins' religion, Gospel of Evolution, which he is actually going back on in these days. He's talking more in terms of panspermia, or aliens coming and sowing stuff in our universe. So he can't get round the basic science either, for all his books of how things have actually worked. But I just mentioned that any other faith, that's the problem with the Jewish religion. There's nothing wrong with the essential Jewish religion, because they got as far in the revelation as God could get with them, and he was wanting to take them on further, and he did indeed do so, because the very first members of the church on day one were all Jews. So clearly God has no problem with Jews, even if they did kill him. He knew that ahead of time. He knew. He wrote about it in Isaiah 53. They never read the scriptures, so they just went ahead and did it. God knew about all this stuff. He knows what a mess the church will make for 2,000 years. He even prophesied it. Jesus said, look, it's like a farmer going out, putting seed into a field, and then an enemy coming in the middle of the night and sowing absolutely rogue seed. Not slightly off, absolutely satanic Illuminati seed. And the angel said, well, do you want us to sort it out for you? And he said, actually, this true seed is going to grow a lot stronger if we leave it in there. So all the denominations which are basically aberrations that got stuck and started following the flesh and trying to achieve in the flesh what God began in the spirit, they've been allowed to coexist on the high street, and well, now in all the auditoriums and whatever. Anything that's lived for longer than 5 minutes, and unless it keeps radically clean in the holy presence of God and his revival presence, is already starting to stink like one-day-old manna. And that is the radical thing. But the great news is we can keep fresh. You know how? Well, because bad fruit seeps out when we don't keep fresh. So that keeps us fresh, as long as we remain in truth and light. And that is what the church is. 1 John 1 states that. It's because all churches in the earth are not like 1 John 1, nor like 1 John 2, which is about the 3 stages of growth, that we have the mess in the earth that is putting 7 billion people off Jesus Christ. Jesus has made no mistake. He knows there's no other way out. Sooner or later, we are going to have to bow in homage to him and say, you know what? This Genesis 3 thing just doesn't work, does it? And God says, no, I just wanted you to find that out. Jesus, God, this is what it said in the Psalms. God has magnified his word above his name. So he's allowed his name to be fouled up. Everyone's saying God and Jesus Christ in the earth. Normally speaking, that was blasphemy and people would just die. Were the holy presence of God manifest in full strength, they would just like Ananias and Sapphira, they'd just die. But he will allow that because of the greater thing he sees, which is bringing forth his own Son experientially, incarnation in 7 billion people. Much greater. And it always looks like darkness just before the dawn. The time the baby is most hurting and the whole thing is worse is just before birth.